Hey, American youth, we're going back to school. You're either in the process of doing it or about to do it. And I want to propose something to you. This school year can be better because of COVID-19. Yeah, you heard that. Let's go back and look at it, okay? You guys have a saying that you love, and you've loved it for years. That which does not kill me makes me stronger. And it turns out research backs this up. There's some new papers coming out that groups that go through duress, in other words, groups that go through pain and difficulty bond. There's more of a social bonding. So a group or groups that go through difficult times bond and have stronger friendships than those that do not. And this kind of makes sense when you think about it. Like, think about the football coach that's driving his team at the beginning of the season. He's doing that to teach skills, but he's also doing that because in his gut he knows when these kids get through this, they're going to be closer. You know, that girls volleyball coach that first week, he's just driving, he's just pushing, okay? The band, you know, that first week, that band camp, that's you know, that band director knows, you know, if I push, they'll be closer. You know, it's the same reason, like when you go through, you know, when I fly and we go through rough turbulence, all of a sudden people start talking to each other. This is why drill sergeants push so hard during basic. They want to teach the skills, but they want to create a cohesive unit. Let's face it, we've gone through a spring and summer that is tough. And it doesn't matter whether you're in Anchorage, Alaska, whether you're in Dallas, Texas. It doesn't matter whether you're out in the plains of Kansas. It doesn't matter where you are. If you are a young person in America, COVID-19 rocked your world. I mean, some of you are returning to school and you've lost your senior football season. You've trained since 4th grade to have your senior season and it's gone. You know, your cheerleading senior, the girls softball senior, girls soccer, all of it's gone. And the clubs, the social clubs, the gatherings, the rituals of school life are gone, and they've been gone since the spring. And this is rough. We've all been through this. But think about what I'm talking about here. The bonding of that should change school. We should then look at school and say, hey, we've all survived this together. We've all endured this, and now we're back. And we should love and accept each other even more because we shared this experience. In a study completed pre-COVID, 41% of students responded that they do not feel safe in school, either for the whole year or parts of the year. Think about that. 41% of students come to school and at some point do not feel safe. That speaks volumes about who we are as a people, and it's discouraging. But think about this. What if COVID made us reach out? Because if you don't feel safe at school last year, COVID's going to create a level of stress that's intolerable. In other words, school's going to be even harder for the kids that don't feel safe because they didn't feel safe this summer. Because many of us didn't. They're worried about mom and dad losing their house. They're worried about so many things, and that worry increases stress, and it adds on to the stress of not feeling safe. So shouldn't we then say, all right, hey man, I know that kid. They never seem to fit in, and I know their parents own a restaurant, and I know the restaurant shut down. That's got to be hard. School's been hard for that kid for years. Everybody knows it. But can you imagine what it's like? Him and his family may lose their house. You know what? This year I'm going to be different than that kid. This year I'm going to go over, hey man, you want to sit with us? Hey, we're hanging out this weekend. You want to hang out with us? You know, with that family going over, that girl, you know, every year seems to be a little bit more difficult for her. And I know the family's had a difficult time. We all have. So she's got the strain of school she faces every year, but now COVID-19 is on top of that. Look, man, that's rough. Get out of your head and start thinking about other people. Look at COVID-19 and the new normal. I know you hate the phrase and you're tired of it, but there's a new normal and it's stressful. And it's going to be really stressful for some kids, especially those kids that didn't feel safe in the first place. You need to love them. You need to reach out to them. I was struggling for a way to articulate this, a way we should be thinking about this year and how this year is starting in relation to COVID-19. I found this quote by a woman named Sarah Patella, and it's a great quote. Listen to this. Here's the quote, Sarah Patella. What if the way through this is to show up for each other in any way we are able? Let me do it again. What if the way through this is to show up for each other in any way we are able? In other words, what if we can support each other with whatever resources we have? Like, you look over and you're like, that kid's in pain. I'm just go over and just give her a hug and say, hey, what's going on? Or, a student has lost his car because the car got repossessed, because the family has lost income because of COVID-19. You still have your car, so you have that resource. So you know what? You say, hey man, you text them, hey man, I can swing by and pick you up for school. Because you do have that car, you have that resource. In other words, what I like about that quote is that we're showing up for each other in any way we are able. What if this year we change? Because I speak all around the nation on racism, bullying, mental illness, cutting, suicide prevention, cyberbullying, all these things. I'm always amazed by the pain that you guys create in each other's lives. It's why I get on the plane. Of course, I'm not getting on the plane anymore because there's no assemblies in North America. That's why I'm making this. But it always amazes me how much you hurt each other. And then the idea got in my head. The suffering we went through could be a catalyst for change. And as we're still going for it. And what I like about this quote is Ms. Patel is basically saying, we don't all have the same resources, but what if we show up in any way we are able for each other? Back to the research I quoted in the beginning. I'm going to continue with the research. Here we go. Quote, pain may actually have positive social consequences. It can act like a social glue and create cohesion. Cohesion, fancy word for togetherness. Wouldn't that be nice? Because we've all gone through pain and discomfort. Wouldn't that be nice? But you know what? Further research states it's not always the same. In other words, sometimes pain as a group is just pain as a group, and people don't move on and use it. They don't capitalize on it. I want you to look at what you've been through and think differently about the beginning of school this year. I'm going to end with a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm not comparing what we have been through to what he has been through. It's not even close. This is a man that was jailed multiple times and beaten and endured so much abuse. But I think the quote is appropriate because it kind of fits. Here it is. We have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat. He was so eloquent and summed things up so well. Let's think about that. We have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat. We all come from different demographics. We're from different places. You're in the same town, but there's groups of people and kids you don't ever talk to. Isn't this the time for that to end? Shouldn't we recognize that we're in the same boat? Love each other, embrace each other. What you've been through has created an urgency for you to do that. Don't look at the nation. Don't look at how the adults are acting, because we're not modeling this for you. Why don't you model it for us? You're in the same boat. Love each other, accept each other. You've come from different places. You're back in school. You've been through a rough time. It should mean something.